Welcome to Riyahi Patents. Here, we make your ideas become your power. Your brand is often your most valuable asset, but many founders aren't sure how it's actually protected. In this video, we'll explain what a trademark is, what it protects, and just as importantly, what it doesn't. We'll also walk through how trademark rights work, why searches matter, and what the registration process looks like in both the US and Canada. Let's start with the basics. What is a trademark? A trademark is a form of intellectual property asset that protects your brand identity. It acts as a badge of origin, allowing consumers to distinguish your goods or services from those of your competitors. And what exactly does a trademark protect? It protects your brand identity, things like your name, logo, and slogan. What it doesn't protect is the product itself. That's what patents are for. And it also doesn't protect creative works like books, music, or software code that falls under copyright. The key idea behind trademark law is actually very simple. It exists to prevent consumer confusion. If two brands are so similar that customers might mistake one for the other, that's when trademark infringement becomes an issue. Another important point is that you don't own a word for everything. Trademark rights are limited to specific categories of goods or services. Globally, there are 45 trademark classes used in both the US and Canada. Classes 1 through 34 cover physical goods, things like clothing, electronics, or beverages. Classes 35 through 45 cover services, such as retail, consulting, or education. That's why choosing the right classes is just as important as choosing the right name. Before you file a trademark application, there's a critical step you can't skip: the search phase. To make sure your name is actually available, you need to conduct two different types of searches. The first is the database search, often called a knockout search. This looks at official government trademark registries to see whether anyone has already applied for or registered a similar mark. The goal here is to catch anything that could be considered confusingly similar. For example, if you want to register Lyft, you'd also want to check names like Lyft or Lyft. The second is the common law search. This one is especially important in the US and Canada. Even if someone never registered their trademark, they can still have rights just by using the name in commerce. That means a small local business, a so-called mom-and-pop shop, could still block your registration or even take legal action if they've been using the name before you. Once your searches are clear, you can move on to the registration process. In both the US and Canada, the application is filed online. In the US, you'll need to specify whether you're already using the mark in commerce or whether you plan to use it in the future, what's called an intent to use. In Canada, the rules are a bit different. Since 2019, you don't need to prove use to file or register, although you do need to actually use the mark to keep it valid over time. After filing, your application goes through examination. An examiner reviews it to check for conflicts with existing trademarks and to make sure the mark isn't merely descriptive. For example, you can't trademark the word cold for ice cream because it simply describes the product. If the examiner approves the application, it's then published for opposition. This gives other companies a chance to object, 30 days in the US and 2 months in Canada, if they believe your trademark would harm their brand. If no one opposes it, your trademark is officially registered. Finally, trademarks require maintenance. You'll need to file renewal documents every 10 years, and in the US, there's also a required filing between years 5 and 6 to show that you're still actively using the mark. So that's how trademarks work. They protect brand identity, not products, and their purpose is to prevent confusion in the marketplace. From proper searching to registration and long-term maintenance, each step plays a critical role in protecting your brand as it grows. If you're choosing a brand name or considering trademark registration, contact our team. We can help you search, file, and protect your trademark with confidence.